Trash.
All right, this is sick. I actually have a hand. I'm gonna raise.
All right, so this is not a hand I'm going to be continuing, but in general, out of the small blind, I'm going to be doing a lot of 3-betting or folding. But in this particular blind dynamic where the small blind's a bit bigger than typically, we're playing 5-5, not 2-5, I'm going to be allowed to do a little bit more flatting than I otherwise would be. So you'll see me coming in here for flats with, maybe some like weaker suited broadways, some suited connectors that might otherwise be 3-bet or fold at a higher frequency. But this hand is just a very clear cut fold.
I have an easy fold here, but I just want to take the moment to say that I'm scared shitless.
Everybody feel good?
Yeah.
So weird. It's so weird. I don't know what to do with my body or my eyes, anything. I don't even know, like.
Sorry, whose headphones are these and how do I use them?
Greg's cheating.
If I summoned up the confidence to give romance a whirl, then I break the chains of common sense. Say, baby, won't you be my girl? Would you meet me at the Friday dance and give romance a whirl? Let's take a chance on happiness. Say, baby, won't you be my girl? Won't you? Won't you be my girl? I said, baby, won't you be my girl?
Picked up a good hand. Very first one I'm going to play. I don't play 6-handed ever, and this game is a little bigger and deeper than I'm used to. But I'm definitely going to open this one every time. I'm just going to do a 3x bet.
15.
So if the open size here is going to be 15 pretty standardly, we also get to do a lot of flatting on the button. I would not necessarily always flat this hand on the button, but early in the game, I kind of want to start defending my blinds and button. I haven't played with a lot of these guys. Actually, I don't think I've played with any of them before. So the way that we sort of start approaching these spots is going to start to develop a dynamic, and I might have to change things up if Greg or Ryan start 3-betting a lot in the blinds. I might not be able to flat as much, but here I'm going to call. I think my hand's playable enough.
I can't hear my own voice. I don't know if I'm yelling. No, I'm just kidding. I'm never folding hands like this because multi-way and suited, so that's cute. There's always a chance. I'm 0% ever leading here, even though this may be a board you could do it heads up, but I don't fuck with that.
So I could continue betting here. My hand could be good right now, so I think it's probably best to just check this one through, seeing as I'm in here with a blind who could have hit that pretty well, and let's just see a free card.
All right, so this board is somewhat toss-up when we're playing hijack versus button versus big blind. We can all sort of have pieces very different ways. I think that Ryan probably connects the hardest here, but I'm gonna have a lot of the very strong hands. I can have some small overpairs, and I think that this hand functions pretty well starting through a bet. I don't believe I have a heart. I would prefer to have one, I do not, but I still think that this hand's gonna function better. Through starting to bet, it's just very hard to win the hand if we play passively. Given that the board's so dynamic, I'm going to use a bit of a larger size here. Raise was 15, so there's 50 in the pot. I'm going to go for 35.
35 is the bet.
So here, I don't know what the fuck Matt is doing. He doesn't have nines. I assume he's 3-betting them. So I reckon we, depending on Kato, have the best hand, at least against Matt. Enough of the time that I'm going to continue for sure.
Call.
I was going to call the first bet, although it's probably pretty obvious what I have since I bet and then checked. 6-handed, I think that is a good idea to stay in with ace highs like this, but since there's 2 players in the pot, I'm just going to wait for another hand.
So now I'm also never donk leading, but so I don't have much more to say.
So this card's obviously pretty interesting for my exact hand, but I think that overall, it's probably a better card for his range. Ryan's gonna have 6-5 here. He's gonna have a lot of 8x that improves on this card in some fashion, whether that's 9-8, 10-8 suited, hands like that. He can also have a lot of 9x of hearts hands, some of which we do okay against and some of which we don't. But overall, my range has, I think, a little bit more of a density toward the draws and 9x here. And a lot of that range can't really stand check raises. So I think based on that, I should just be checking back a lot of the medium strength 9s, betting the stronger ones, and betting the draws that pick up equity for the most part. Yeah, I think I like that, so I'm gonna check back.
We may be fucked. I think that on the turn, him checking back, I'd almost rather him bet the turn than check, because I want him to be having hearts that we unblock, I reckon, and having random overs. But he does have a lot of like Jack 9 suited type of like overs and a gut shot maybe, and things that he'd flat pre that he, I guess, would. I don't know, I'm not good enough to act like I've formulated thoughts already. I'm thinking this through as I go. I guess is the point of the show that I'm on right now, called Poker Out Loud. I'm deciding obviously whether or not I need to bluff him or not, and what he will bluff with. I don't think I have a good enough hand to. Yeah, I quit.
So I was starting to think about what I would be doing if Ryan bet here, and I actually think that a lot of his flush draws check raise flop, and that's gonna make me be a little more inclined to lean him pretty value heavy when he bets the river. Even if he doesn't check raise every heart draw, he backs into a pair sometimes here as well and can value bet those, I think, pretty comfortably. But when he checks 3 streets, particularly after I've checked turn, I mean, my instinct was actually to check this hand back on river, but I don't think we have to. I think that he's actually a little more dense to 8x when he checks river. He can still have some of the 9x. I think most of those will check, but he has a ton of 8x in range as well. We don't really beat much 9x. I think just 10-9, probably maybe 9-6 suited type hands. But maybe he value bets the very best 9x. I'm a little back and forth here, but I think that going for a small value bet is pretty reasonable. I don't really expect him to fold an 8, although I've certainly been wrong before. There's now 120 in the pot, and I think that we just put his kind of like showdown range into a pretty weird spot by betting like 30 to 40% pot. So I think I'm just going to go for $40 here, not a lot bigger than the previous street that I bet.
40 is the bet.
Like I said, I'm probably just gonna bail. He probably, when he checks back turn, possibly hit a 9, and then just was debating whether or not to go for value, I imagine. So my 7 is not good enough, although yeah, whatever.
We have a 7 of hearts here, so I think we're going to come in with a standard raise. It's playable. It's a little loose to open it in this position, but it's a playable hand.
All right, so obviously we pick up a slam dunk 3-bet here, but I just want to say as well that in these like early position or hijack versus cutoff spots, I'm going to be doing more 3-betting than flatting, just because with a player who has position on me with the button, they can flat behind and have a pretty strong advantage post. They can also squeeze me out of the pot. Players in the blinds can also squeeze me, so I'm going to do most of my flatting from the button and a lot more 3-betting from the hijack and cutoff for sure. I think that this is the first 3-bet here, so I'm just going to go for a pretty standard, slightly over 3x size here. Based on how deep we are, I think that's fine, and kind of go from there.
Easy fold.
If this were suited, some of the time I find a way to rationalize making a horrendous play, but it's offsuit, so there's no possible route.
This is so friggin' weird, man. It's like I forgot how to play poker. I don't even know where to start thinking. Okay, so there's a raise, re-raise, and I have, ooh, first one's good. All right, so this is interesting. I don't know how everyone's really gonna play here. I don't know that anyone really knows how I play or think, so I think we have an okay hand. This is probably a little bit aggressive. I might have seen this on a Rampage vlog somewhere, but I think I'm going to get in here with a raise. I'm not going to say anything too smart. Let's go. You know what? I'm going to get in the streets here. I'm going to go 300.
300.
Okay, so facing a cold 4-bet from the small blind, we're obviously folding. Had it just been me and Matt heads up, I would have actually also folded because his range is going to be weighted towards better aces, which we're dominated by. Any pair above 7s, we are obviously dominated and / losing to. We don't get paid if we hit an ace. And the only hands we beat are like, you know, the king queen, the maybe king jack suited. And I know he's playing a balanced strategy of 3-betting from every position besides the button and the big blind, if I had to guess. So this is an obvious fold. We're just going to act like we have a hard decision facing a cold 4-bet. Also to that sizing, we wouldn't call any 4-bet to any sizing. So we're going to fold here.
This is pretty unusual pre-flop action in terms of the sizing. My sizing is pretty standard, and Drew goes for 6x out of position. It really feels like he is trying to kind of force me to go with it or fold. We both start roughly 1K effective, so yeah, I mean, like I could find some flats here, but creating an SPR of 1 is not ideal with a whole lot of hands in my range. I could certainly find some flats mixing in with aces and kings, but like this hand in particular, I don't think loves flatting. There's just so frequently going to be an ace or a king on the flop, and I won't really know where I'm at. I might just have to stack off at that SPR. That's just a pretty uncomfortable place to be when I don't really know how Drew's constructing. I don't really know how many cold 4-bet bluffs he has. But I think when he goes to this size and kind of forces this decision so aggressively, yeah, we're going to be beat a significant amount of the time here. He's going to have aces and kings a lot. He's going to have ace-king a lot. But I want to think that his sizing probably pushes him slightly away from aces and maybe slightly away from kings as well. I mean, we just haven't played together, so I don't want to over-level myself here. I think that it's a pretty simple all-in. There's just, I think he's kind of handcuffed us here with the sizing. And Whether that's kind of good for me or not is kind of remains to be seen. But what's interesting about his sizing, I think he's still allowed to do this and then fold. So I think he can have some bluffs or have some somewhat thinner value hands that he does this with and then folds. But for the most part, I'm expecting to get it in against some kind of range of like jacks plus ace king and maybe ace queen suited, I hope. Ollie?
All the chips.
Okay, so looks like that's all it. This is freaking funny. This is what I get. This is what I get. Gosh, this is so tournamenty, man. But actually, I guess, yeah, it kind of is though. I mean, it's kind of tough to flat here. I don't know. I'm obviously not doing anything, so I'm just gonna fold, but I don't know. I gotta take a second here. What do we start with, the 1K? Yeah. So, yep, I know what I was doing, so I'm folding.
How about now?
Yeah. With any ace in any format on the button, 100% of life, I'm opening. Some people who solve a bunch of shit say you raise bigger on the button. I don't.
All right, Ryan has opened the button, and oh my gosh, this is such a bad hand. Why do I want to play every single hand? Okay, I need to just fold.
All right, so this is definitely a call, especially six-handed, and we'll just have to navigate it out of position, but I already have a discount with the blind. I'm not going anywhere. So this is why a hand like this is very difficult to play. Basically any board that comes out, unless it smacks me, is going to be a tough one. I'm just going to play this one slow and see what DePaulo wants to do.
Check.
I'm gonna bet pot because
35 is the bet.
I'd love to stick around and see a turn and spike a deuce, but really there's no point in overcomplicating a hand like this, so I'm just going to fold.
Just another easy fold here. Someone better than me could probably play this, but I'm not that guy.
I'm too impatient, so I already looked at my hand before it was on me. I should get in the habit like all these guys do. But the thing is, nobody's good enough here to be getting reads off me ahead of time if I look at my hand beforehand, so whatever. Anyway, I'm raising this always.
15.
All right, Ryan has opened, and all right, we're gonna do something with this one. Let's see, starting to settle down a little bit. What do we have? We donked off 300 a couple seconds ago. So, cash game deep, huh? Let me see here. I want to play this heads up. So let's make it 55. Ryan just looked at me. Maybe I should make it bigger. I'm just gonna do 55. All right.
55 is the bet.
I'm glad I 3-bet because it makes my decision a lot easier. This is a trash hand, and just probably always best to avoid getting yourself into trouble pre-flop.
There is absolutely no merit to defending this hand facing a 3-bet.
So Drew is a friend of mine, and we've talked strategy before, and I know that he knows that I open light. There's a lot of like leveling that could go on here in pots between us, but I just eye rolled when he 3-bet because I was expecting him to 3-bet me pretty much a ton of the time, just trying to play a pot in position against me with what he probably thinks is a light range. But with this hand, whether or not that dynamic was going on, I'm calling. And no need to 4-bet. I will, out of position when we're 3-bet, I'm always just checking anyway, but obviously this isn't great.
All right. So he's going to check here a lot. Question is, do I want to bet? What is the value in betting here? We got some backdoorsy. Ace-X. I wonder if I check if he would start to fire. I actually think that I think I'm going to start with a check here. Yeah, I think I'm going to check. We're just going to go from there.
Check.
I don't know what this sneak is doing. I'm not looking at him to not read his lips, but I saw him doing the chin beard thing, and it could be a sick angle, but he could have really had a decision. I'm not sure. In tournaments, everyone, which I'm much more familiar with than cash, it's just an auto quarter pot these days, third pot check, in a 3-bet pot. But him checking back fucks me up. I'm more interested to continue now, obviously, but I'm not going to be betting. I don't think there's any need to, unless I could be getting value for maybe if he has King Jack, but I highly doubt that he would check back. I would have reckoned he had a lot of queens, maybe he has another pocket pair, but I think I'm going to check and then see what he does.
All right. So he probably doesn't have much. The only thing is if I bet here when he does have an ace-X, I don't think he leads ace on the turn. So what's the value in betting here? He's probably not going to turn any small pairs into a bluff, so I guess here, do we have any spades? Let me look at this board. Nope. So nothing going on out there. If we're going to get any value, probably going to be this turn anyway. Yeah, we probably got a bet turn. What do we got? 130 out there. I'm going to go, I think, yeah, I'm going to go a little smaller here. Let's go 45. 45 seems sexy. Yep, 45 it is.
45 is the bet.
He's so annoying. I know that he and I were talking about trying to play more exploitatively and just letting ourselves do that while we play live this trip and not GTO. So I'm trying to just think on us leveling each other. Not that I even know necessarily what GTO is, but I reckon for this size, I must continue and see if we can get to showdown. What is it?
45.
So I guess depending on what this card was, I may have in some planet. No, there's no card that I would have Donkled River. So I'm gonna check. I'm checking always, no matter what.
Check.
Okay, so he has checked and pretty much just targeting ace-X. Right, so what do we got in the pot? There was 55 pre, 120, about 120-ish, and then we bet 45, turn 92 something. Ace-X. Let me think. I think I am going to, I wonder how he interprets my check back on the flop. I think that I am going to, this is funny actually. I told Ryan yesterday I was gonna bluff a lot versus him, so I don't know if he's thinking about that or if he remembers that. Maybe I'll go bigger here. I'll probably go bigger with King 10. Make it, put ace-X in a tough spot, King 10, King Jack. Yeah. All right, this might be a good spot based on conversation yesterday. Let's see if he remembers. I'm going to go big. Let's go 2, and let me see. All right, I'm going to put this red chip in here. It's going to super level him. 205. 205.
205.
Yeah, so obviously I don't like it. I don't like him. I don't like that he took me to the woods with the checking back the flop. He's being a jerk, but I'm not calling. He is a queen or something. He just has a queen.
What would everyone? What should we? How would you like to be referred? Like your name, I guess would be the easier way of saying it on here.
Alex.
Matt.
No one really. Okay.
I can't hear you. I'm obeying the rules.
I think we're gonna go ahead and open this in middle position.
I kind of feel like 3-betting just to get revenge on Drew, who's not in this pot.
Friggin' Ryan. All right, what do we got here? So, Greg has opened. Don't know much about Greg, but he's funny. All right, this is no go. We're just gonna fold.
This is not a hand I would typically play, but I know Greg's playing a little higher stakes than he's used to, and so am I. So I might as well put the pressure on him a little bit and have some fun with the 3-bet in position. No need to make it too big. Let's just do 50.
This is kind of annoying. So we pick up our first, semi-decent hand, and obviously there's a 3-bet, as can be expected. Theory says fold, obviously, and to just Greg's raise, I think theory says fold or raise, but I'm just not willing to start punting yet. I'll start getting into the punts later for sure, but just flatting 50 from the small blind is extremely bad, even though it would be a set mine, and I think we have a lot of implied odds against any overpair, especially against our opponents in this hand. But if Greg comes over with a 4-bet, I'm cucked, so I'm just gonna fold. I mean, it's an obvious fold, but I just want to explain, flopping sets is good. That's the note.
Okay, sitting here with pocket threes, facing a 3-bet from the button. I think if I were deeper, I would have the implied odds to call. So my thought process here, welcome to the inner thoughts of a recreational 1-2 poker player. Like my inner thoughts here, it's 35 for me to call. I'm familiar with the 20x rule. Do I have 20x times 35 to potentially earn? I don't, because I'm a short stack. So again, if I was deeper stack, I would call. And also opening in early position here, I think these guys know I'm playing a little bit scared and wouldn't open too light. So I think this 3-bet screams strength anyway. So easy fold here for me.
Can I talk now? Do I have the fucking floor? Am I good? I'm folding.
All right, folds to me, and that's doo-doo. I'm out.
Cool.
All right, another fun one to play. Very limited playability, going for basically one thing. But there's only 6 of us, might as well let everyone know that I'm here to play a little bit of poker.
15.
So we have suited Broadway. I think it's like a pretty standard 3-bet spot here. We can be flatting, but then we're enticing either the players in the blinds to raise, which they're both capable of. It's much better to get this hand heads up. In Poker Beast, from watching his vlog, you can understand that his opening ranges aren't necessarily going to be dominating us all the time, or have us at a 60-40 in his favor or anything. So I think it's totally valid, also considering we haven't played a hand to 3-bet to $50.
50 is the bet.
Easy fold.
This is definitely a spot where I probably should have just folded, and I should probably just fold again. But 35 to call, play, defend my original bet. Don't really want to get pushed around, and I still have a pretty strong hand that I can hit. So this is an ideal flop for my hand. I have obvious flush possibilities, but also backdoor straight possibilities. I have a king that I could hit, but I'm really looking for the ace of clubs. So I'm of course going to check, which I would almost do all the time.
So he should be checking a lot here. And I think in a 3-bet pot, we can be continuing small here a lot. We don't have really that much equity besides 2 overs and a backdoor straight draw, some of which potentially are not clean outs. We are going to fire c-bet here, and I do expect to get called a lot of the time, and to basically see what the turn is to decide if we're going to continue to bluff at this hand, because that is what we are doing. So I'm going to choose, I think in live, we have, it's like $100 pot. I think that a $40 sizing is fine, like slightly over a third. So that's what I'm going to choose to do.
40.
All right, so obviously if he's chasing a better draw, then I'm in big trouble. Ace 10 is possible. I'm blocking king 10 over pairs, but whatever he 3-bet with probably doesn't interact very well on this board. I could apply the pressure back to him, but I would rather just realize my equity and see the turn. I'm priced in, I can always make moves later. I'm gonna call. All right, so that's another good card for us. I hate checking here, but I think that I'd rather put in a raise over the top of them rather than lead out. Playing out of position is no fun for this very reason.
So this is a card that shouldn't really affect either our hands too much in the majority of situations. But it is a card that I'm going to give up on. I think that, a big thing that we still need to consider is that individual players have their habits, and I would say Poker Beast is a relatively sticky player. So I don't actually think that it was a correct play to fire the flop. I think we can actually just check, give up. With that said, us checking here is extremely weak, but it is what we're going to do. And if the river isn't a queen, a jack, a king, or an ace, I'm not going to be doing anything about it. I'm just going to be folding, even if check too. So for that reason, I'm going to check now.
This hand probably for good for me didn't get too wild. I was gonna raise him on the turn if he bet. I think I have all the pocket fives, pocket fours, pocket threes. Right now I think I have the best hand, and so I think I'm just gonna, God, it would be such thin value. I think I might just check and bluff catch instead, but I do want to bet.
Yep.
I think that he has a lot of missed flush draws here. He could have maybe a hand like sevens or something, sevens or eights. He also could just have overcards to our overs, like, ace X, king X. We really, really want to bluff at it here, but I think that he is capable of calling with his just overcards. So I don't think we're going to be getting many folds here. We're just going to tank and, act like this is like a hard decision for us, but I think that we've pretty much played this hand relatively face up by checking the turn, and I'm sure that he thinks we have a hand like ace king, ace queen, or some shit like that. But we're totally boned, so we're gonna check back.
Check.
We're playing poker. We're playing poker.
The hand just kept getting better and better for me. With the,
You made a pair on the river, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Flush draw on the flop.
I was trying to figure out how king high was good, and then I
Straight
saw
draw on the
pair.
turn.
All right, so Queen of Hearts exposed. We are Eulogy. Poop. See it.
This is the kind of playlist that gets me in trouble. Just FYI. Oh, this makes me sad. This makes me sad.
Blind versus blind. I know that your range is supposed to be pretty big, but seeing as Conrad's holding one of my outs of my bigger card, I feel more hesitant to play this hand. But maybe I can take the blinds down. So, and plus I'm bored. So let's do it.
15.
Obviously, we want to play pots in position with as much money as possible, even with not very good hands. But with very good hands, we want to raise. I don't want to. I'm deciding the size because it's not. I don't think I have a very large. Almost always in tournaments in this spot, unless I'm jamming, I'm just flatting a raise, and I'm much more familiar with tournaments, so I don't know the cash game size. But I'll just guess and do. Your mom. Do 55.
55.
Fuck.
I'm horrible.
Do